Alright, just to show you before this goes in, got everything pretty much done on the intake side. So the thermostat housing's on, siliconed. One of the heater hoses that goes to the firewall is right here. If you look, we also have it running through the IAC valve, so that way this is functional, which plumbs into the rear part of the block, and this also goes to the firewall. If you notice, I have a little fitting right here that used to be a hard line, but it goes from my it's basically the turbo outlet for the water, comes back here and drains into this side. So if you look, I have the Greddy sandwich adapter also here with the sensors, the stock sensors. Got my engine mount on, and now to the other side here. Everything is pretty much done on the exhaust side as well. So all the bolts are torqued down. I got my plumbing on the turbo, so the oil feed and return. I will eventually get the thermal housings for these. I just got an extra large one for the return. But yeah, these will eventually get the treatment as well. Don't want these to burn up. And then also have the turbo blanket. So yeah, she's ready to drop in. I just need to add the mounts onto there. And I am waiting for some new poly mounts from CX Racing for these mounts. So I did a quick little paint job, nothing too crazy. And then I did have to get new bolts for the engine mounts as well, because they're too long. The ones that I have had a thicker bracket, so these are obviously a lot thinner now. These are M10 1.5 pitch if you're needing to do that as well. And I think the bolt length was only 25 millimeters versus I think the stock ones were like 35 or 40. So I have a little bit of a plan to drop this motor in. I'm actually going to swing the car over this way, and then we're actually going to put the stand right over here. And the reason why I want to do that is instead of doing it from outside, I have an issue of hitting the top of this garage door with the top of the hoist. So at least this way right here, we'll have all the space to lift this up and not have any issues with clearance. So yeah, so I need to move this over and get this on a tire so I can put the flywheel and clutch stuff on. So one more thing I do before dropping the RB in is I like to remove the 14mm bolts for the sway bar. That way it lowers it. There's always an issue on S13, S14 where that hits the oil pan and you need to clearance it about almost an inch. So they do sell spacers where you can put it in between the mount and chassis. So I will most likely get those. But yeah, so dropping that first will be a lot easier and less of a pain when you're halfway through putting the motor in. And took the valve covers off because those always get in the way of the mounts. The hoist mounts will bend and scratch up your beautifully covered valve cover. So I put saran wrap on top, and then I'll put a nice little blanket on top of this just so that nothing hits all the you know, important components like the camshafts and whatnot. So all right, almost there. This side's ready, and I just need to get the mounts on here. I'm gonna bring it down and get the clutch disc and flywheel on. And in case you need the part number, this is the they call it the Slinger engine bracket, so that's the part number for that. And then you will need the other side, which unfortunately does not have a part number, but I'll put these on and she should be ready to lift up. All right, so engine mounts are secured. I used 2 of the factory engine block bolts that I couldn't use for my mounts, so at least those are not gonna fail on me. And I actually did 2 of them since I was able to fit 2. And then down here, if you look, these are all supported as well. So I lifted it up all the way so that way there's no weight on this. Scary.
Why are you taking these bolts off? Oh.
Is there anything else that's hanging to it? There we go.
Wait, did Amazon come?
Yeah.
Oh, you're just getting it prepared.
Motor is finally off the stand after a year and a half or so now. Maybe. Alright, so got the dust shield. Alright, so now that that's there, we can get the flywheel on. Alright, so this is an auto block. So obviously, some of you may know, this right here is not gonna, there's gonna be a insert for your pilot bushing, and your normal pilot bushing would normally just slip in here, but unfortunately with this in the way, you actually do have to take this little, it's almost like its own pilot bearing or pilot bushing, but it's not. It's, you got to remove this, and you can't utilize the RB25 pilot bearing. You have to use the Z32 because it is larger. So removing this is going to be a pain. I'm going to try to use my slide hammer. Researched a couple things where some people actually tack welded a bolt to here and then use a slide hammer to take it out that way. I'm going to try my pilot bearing removal tool to see if that does anything. Alright, so I didn't get it on film, but maybe I should have. This is the auto pilot bearing. I had to drill 2 holes with the really good bits that I have on both sides, and you have to be careful not to hit that tube out over here. But if you look, let me see if I can get a light on this. I nicked it just a little bit on that one side, but just because I was measuring it by eye. When you do yours, just be super careful not to go too far. And but yeah, so this is that stupid bearing here that needs to come out. I'm just gonna tap it in first just to make sure it's flush. There we go. That looks good. Drive that all the way in. I always do it to the end of the lip itself. It's usually about perfect. So, alright, now I get the flywheel on. Alright, so this is the flywheel. It's a competition Lightened flywheel. I'm going to clean it up, maybe get some sandpaper on this, mock that up, and then I did go with a Spec, what stage was this? I forgot. It's been a while. I think it was stage 2. Let's see if I can find something. No, it doesn't say. But that's the serial number. So I believe it's stage 2. I'll put it on the screen here in just a sec. But yeah, so this guy, I wanted a good feel on the clutch where it wasn't too hard, but still had enough clamping load. I believe this is a 455 foot-pounds of torque, which is plenty. If I'm wrong, I'll put that on the screen as well. But it does come with everything. and pilot bushing tool, or sorry, clutch alignment tool, and where did I put that? Throwout bearing. Throwout bearing is over here on this side. So it does come with everything to get it on. So I'm gonna clean this up, and I also have some ARP studs. The reason why you want to, if you're going with a Neo or an auto RB, the bolts that are from the auto flywheel are actually smaller. And here's the part number if you want that as well. Before putting on my clutch disc and pressure plate, I do like to scuff up the surface of a brand new flywheel, just because when it does get machined, you do have those grooves that all are in a circular pattern here. So it's nice to kind of pre-scuff this up so that way the clutch disc beds in a lot better. I'm gonna clean it one more time before I put the disc on, and then I'll find out the torque specs as far as putting this guy on. Without touching the surface again, let's put, there usually is a dowel pin here. There isn't one on this, so I'm wondering if I could steal it from something, because I do like that when it's on there. It does help put on the plate correctly, but honestly, as long as everything lines up and you have that dowel in that right spot, it should be fine. Okay, so look at the torque specs, and there's a bunch of mixed reviews. They say 110, I've read 110, some 120 foot-pounds. ARP's website, though, they say to do 95 pounds with these guys with their lube. So I'm guessing that the lube does assist with the torque. So we'll do 95 just to be safe from what ARP recommends with their bolts. So I'll get that, and then I also have ARP flywheel bolts as well. So we'll be putting those on. I totally forgot about these. Alright, I'm dumb. This actually came with, yep, 95. It does say RB26, but it'll be the same, but yeah, see, 95. It was actually behind the lube. So that is reassuring. Alright, so I got a little bit of a problem. With these tightened down all the way, this was still moving, so meaning there was a gap between the actual bolt and the flywheel. So alright guys, so I think I figured it out. I did test the I did test the clutch disc on here, and it matches perfectly with the dowels and all the mounting holes, so I know that's not the issue. So what I'm thinking, I talked to my buddy who's done the swap before already, and he said that he used his flex plate. It looked like a spacer in between the flex plate and the actual crank. So this right here should give me the exact thickness that I need to, because it was almost touching the actual flywheel already. It was almost there, just a little bit of wiggle. So I think this will literally make it perfect. So I'm gonna try that with this one, and might clean it up a little bit with like a wire brush, because I'm just anal like that. But yeah, this should be what I need. So again, that was a good thing I kept my flex plate. I didn't sell that. So I'm gonna clean this up, use that, and then I'll try to torque everything down. Just to make sure. Alright, so I'm gonna wipe this down once more, and then this is the ceramic clutch disc. There we go. Alright, so I didn't really record this part because it's kind of boring, but the clutch plate, I have M8s, so they are 25 foot-pounds, which I'm going to do here in just a sec.